Hey, what's up? Lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2009 action-adventure thriller sequel film Fast and Furious. So this is the fourth film in the Fast Saga series. That's what it's been called, the Fast Saga. This is the second film directed by Justin Lin in this Fast Saga. So it takes place... No, it came out in 2009, but canonly, it takes place in 2006. And how do we know this? Because the first movie takes place in 2001 when it came out. Mia says to Brian, in this film, 5 years ago, which means 5 years, right, ago would it be 2001, which means it's 2006 when this movie takes place, which is when Tokyo Drift takes place, which is when Tokyo Drift came out, and this film came out in 2009. So, I had a cheat sheet. I literally had to write notes down because this movie went all over the place within the Americas, and I had to keep track of where it started, where it was going, etc. Right? So Han is brought into this. We see him alive and well in the Dominican Republic, where we first start out. He is helping Dom and Letty and some of their other Fast family crew hijack a tanker truck filled with gas on a Dominican Republic highway, which is a pretty awesome scene. Not gonna lie, they use nitrous to freeze some chain and break them off. It was pretty epic. So in the DR, Han is like, Dom, we shouldn't really do this anymore. They're getting hot on our trail, and Letty is kind of convincing Dom to stay, but Dom realizes that he has to go, away, so that way the feds don't capture everybody in his group because they only want him. So then he goes to Panama. But while this is happening in Los Angeles, right, we go from the DR to Los Angeles to Panama to Los Angeles to Mexico to Los Angeles to Mexico to Los Angeles. Okay, a lot of back and forth. Brian, Paul Walker, is now an FBI agent, and he's tracking down this guy who turns out to be David Park, a Korean kid who's running races for this drug lord, Braga, and Braga's right-hand man is Ramon Campos, right? So Ramon Campos is the right-hand man of Arturo Braga, right? I have my little notes. Arturo Braga runs this drug empire. We learn later on throughout the series, how big of an empire this actually is, if it actually is a Braga empire, or if it's somebody higher than Braga. So who is Campos, right? Who is Ramon Campos? Why is he setting up races? Well, it's to find drivers to run some stuff between Mexico and the U.S. to, smuggle in some product, wink, wink. And their audition is the same concept as the second film, that the racers had to audition to ride for this drug lord. So now Brian is disguising himself, even though he is an FBI agent, he's disguising himself. Dom comes back to the U.S. to run these things, because why is Dom back in the U.S. now? Well, Letty was killed. Who was Letty killed by? Letty was killed, by the way. Letty was killed by this guy who works for Braga. So Dom obviously needs to get into this race to then meet Braga, but, Campos is always in the way of all these things. So the story continues, and we go to Mexico, then we go back to Southern California, then we go to Mexico, then we go back to SoCal, and back and forth, right? So a lot of racing going on, a lot of drug smuggling, a lot of heist stuff. But then it's a revenge story, because Brian realizes that he's team Toretto family. He's not team FBI, because Mia says this thing to him, and she's like, you run around thinking that you're the good guy putting away the bad guys, but maybe you're the bad guy who's, not a good guy. Something like that. And it was like, yeah, he's saying, yeah, I think about that every night. So Brian's trying to find himself. He's understanding the respect that he and Dom have had for each other in the past, even though it was kind of fabricated, but then becoming into light now. And at the very end, when they do have Braga, who was Campos this entire time, or vice versa, Campos was Braga the entire time, they get him in Mexico. The feds swoop in, collect them, and Dom and Brian, as they're both bleeding, have a heart-to-heart and a little laughing moment, which was kind of entertaining. But then Dom is convicted of all his heinous crimes, and the FBI can't fulfill Brian's demand of, Toretto walks free if we bring Braga in. So then, obviously, people are pissed. So then what happens? Dom gets on a bus being transported to this Lagos facility, and Brian, Mia, and two of the other guys that we see first in the Dominican Republic take their fast cars and about to break Dom out of the prison bus. That is how the movie ends. There is no post-credit scene, but this movie was important because it gives more of that soap opera-ness to it, because we go back to Letty's accident. We have Han in this as well. Giselle, Gal Gadot's Giselle, is introduced in this story, and then she's in 5, and then she's in 6. She is working for Campos, aka Braga, in this particular setting. So it's really cool street racing scenes, you know, without streets actually being brought to light. Dwight, played by Greg Sipes, hysterical, and Brandon T. Jackson plays some racer in this as well. So I always wanted to see more of Dwight. I love Greg Sipes. I've loved him since I first saw him in John Tucker Must Die, which is way back in the day. But he's very well renowned as a voice actor, specifically Beast Boy in Teen Titans. He's Michelangelo in TMNT. And he was Chuck in The Middle. Obviously, I'm a fan of Greg Sipes. I clearly know most of his resume. But him playing Dwight in this, and then Brian framing him with meth, hysterical. Absolutely hysterical. But yeah, so this is an important film. I have with me my, what is this? Just another Skyline from Jada Toys. This came out, as I throw the box around, 2015. So this is the Skyline that Brian was driving in the LA scene, where they're auditioning to drive for Braga, Campos, aka Braga. But another gorgeously, crafted die-cast car. What scale is this? 32nd, I think. 118 is the bigger ones. I think this is 132. 132, 136. I don't see a scale number anywhere. It's 132 and 136. I don't remember. But yeah, beautiful cars. Inspired by Fast and Furious films. Look at that. But yeah, so this film is just another chapter in the saga. Obviously, this happens before the third film. But it's important because it brings us new characters that we see throughout other films, and it also brings plot points that we revisit moving forward. 5, 6, 7, we revisit these plot points as well as the third as well. So I think that's it. Fast and Furious, the fourth film in the Fast saga. That was a lot of sounds. Did we follow? I think we followed. I think we're good. All right, glasses are on to Fast 5, starring The Rock. Can't wait. Mucho mahalo.